Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 23rd of March, comes to you from London. And quite a lot of red on the screen today, so we'll take a look at the markets, starting with the currencies first. This is my weekly, daily, and 60-minute chart, long-term, medium-term, and short-term view of the market with the corresponding point and figure targets and these tracker charts. I'm running on Refinitiv Icon, but of course with Updata you can run on dozens of different data sources, so you can run this on your own data. Taking a look first of all at the dollar, we're seeing the rise continues. We're bullish on the short and medium term time frames. We still have work to do on the longer term time frame, but the dollar is in turnaround mode this year, and that is showing us that 2021 is going to be the year of a stronger dollar. Euro weaker against that dollar, so we are seeing that falling away. So we are seeing here the trend breaking to the upside, and of course we saw big moves yesterday, of course, in the Turkish lira down 14% against the US dollar. So we do still see the occasional big moves. Sterling sitting at 137.94, so it's just nudging that 138 level. So it's short-term bearish against that stronger dollar, just falling away a little bit there. Against the euro, we're down slightly as well, but the 116 level is looking pretty strong at the moment. We're just seeing some short-term weakness in sterling. Bitcoin sitting at $54,500, so that's short-term bearish for the moment. We've got some downside targets, but the medium and long-term charts are still very bullish. The S&P 500 index was up yesterday. The Nasdaq struggling, of course, still to make new highs from that February high. And we are seeing the futures down today, down on the S&P future by about 0.25%, and down on the Nasdaq just under 0.1%. So our call for today is that US markets will open relatively flat. The VIX volatility is up, but it is sitting below that 20 level. And whilst we're below that 20 level, that's really showing low fear factor for the market. The FTSE futures down 0.2%. Just struggling really to break that January high, so markets really holding back. The DAX in Germany down 0.37%. Announcement of new lockdown measures in Germany. We'll take a look at the coronavirus stats at the end. And looking at the CAC 40 in Paris, we're down 0.3% as well. Asia was pretty heavily down. We're seeing Japan down nearly 1%. Hang Seng was down 1.3%. Baidu shares disappointed on their market debut there. And looking at the Chinese market down 1%, the Sensex down 1% as well. So we are just seeing really across the board falls in Asia, although these markets long term still looking pretty good. Gold sitting at 1737, so relatively static the last few days. So steady there. Silver had big falls yesterday, down a further 1% today, so not looking quite as strong as gold at the moment. And copper holding its own, still looking pretty bullish. US 10-year yields falling back to 1.65%. That's still obviously a very high level in the context of where we've been in the last few months, but we have just turned short-term bearish. We've got targets to the 150s there, and the same on the 30-year bond yield. We're seeing that just turning bearish as well, back to the 2.21% level, but still bullish on the medium and longer term. So just seeing short-term weakness kicking there on the yields. Brent crude down further this morning, down 1.5%. The key question is, will we take to new lows and activate this downside target? That's what we're watching for. WTI, much the same question here. If we look at the charts, we're seeing downside targets potentially activated. US nat gas sitting at 256, just recovering slightly. We were neutral on US nat gas this week, having been bearish for weeks on end. Coal was our most bullish call for the week yesterday out to clients, and we're seeing that rising up this morning, bucking the trend against most other energy assets. Emissions down 1% to 42. No real surprise there that we're consolidating after the big jump, and we've said that we need to watch for that. MBP down 1.3% yesterday, had very strong days yesterday. TTF down 1%. Again, strong day yesterday, but we are seeing that move below the cloud is still significant. Winter gas also strong day yesterday, but targets in both directions. So our call for gas this week was neutral. Looking at German power, we're down 0.8%. We are a bit range bound now. This 57.25 level is pretty key. And if we look at the Nordic power market, much the same. Taking a look at the gas, just quite interesting looking at gas seasonality here. We've got LNG as the red line, TTF as the green line, and the blue line MBP, all priced into dollars and normalized to MMBTU. So we're seeing the same prices, if you like, for we're carrying with apples, and US nat gas. And we're seeing how US nat gas has really bucked the trend here and underperformed, or these products have diverged. Be interesting just to see how this divergence, whether it closes up. It did last year around this time, so it'll be interesting to see that. And of course, the seasonality points to gas prices drifting lower. We've had big falling prices in gases over many years, which is what's affected the seasonality. But if you go back to 2017, typically this is a time of year where we've been flat, but for the last 5 years we have seen gas prices falling around this time of year, as we're seeing here. 2018 bucked the trend. Will we have another 2018? Hard to say. Quick look at the coronavirus stats. And I've ranked them by percentage change. So the best performer, if you like, is the one that's down the most. Down 7% in Chechnya. North America down 2%. If we take a look at the stats the other way around, France had a big hiccup yesterday, and we're seeing that there. So that's very worrying in a number of cases there. Spain up 17%. Spain not so good at reporting the numbers here, so we're seeing a little bit of but it looks like it's slightly turning there. Denmark also up 13% yesterday. So having had a big fall over the weekend numbers, or last week's numbers, we're now seeing that general rise. That's what we've got to do. You've got to look at, you can always put a moving average on these numbers, of course. So there's the moving average. And we're seeing how cases are kicking up there in Denmark. Looking overall, Germany's up. Really no respite on this. We're seeing the UK holding steady at 81 cases per million, still half that of the US, and still a long way below that of Germany and France. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.